The Raptors cannot capitalize against the shorthanded Nets as they lose a heartbreaker in Brooklyn in overtime, 131-129. I'm Randy Urban, and this is Raptors Night Cap. Tonight, we're joined by Jack Armstrong, Amy Audibert, and Sherman Hamilton. Welcome to the show, everyone. Tough one again for me. Amy, I'm going to start with you. You were calling the game tonight. For me, rebounding was a big issue for the Raps. Nets out-rebounded them 60-41. Why do you think there was such a big discrepancy on the glass?
Way to start things off by telling everyone how smart you are, Randy. You were right. It was a 20.
You know what? It comes naturally, Amy. It comes naturally.
It was a
Sure,
20 point or 20 difference, 60-40 for Brooklyn. And why? I mean, I think at times they just crashed harder. It's unfortunate when you look at a 2-point overtime loss, every possession you can go back to that mattered. And there were a couple times where the Raptors just didn't necessarily have their eye on the ball or got caught out of position. That last rebound from David Duke really sealed the game for them, and he flew in from the top. And so it's frustrating when you watch it on the film, because it just you felt maybe if there was just a couple more bodies, because that was the one thing. Brooklyn played tonight without LaMarcus Aldridge. They were missing some bigger guys. You were to hope that maybe the Raptors, obviously missing their big guys as well, but the blocking out is so important.
Jack, why do you think there was such a discrepancy? Because in my head, I'm like, okay, they got 8 guys. We got to crash the boards. We got to make them tired. And it just didn't really seem to work out like that.
Well, I thought the Nets did a good job working the ball late into the shot clock, made the extra pass. So you start chasing a little bit. You know, the Raptors mix that zone in quite a bit. You don't have set block out responsibilities. And then the ball's coming off long because, as Sherman, Amy, both of you know, in that game, they took a lot of shots from the perimeter. They didn't have much of a post game. So therefore, balls are coming off long. And, as you get a little more tired, it's harder to chase down those 50-50 balls. And a lot of times when you're shooting it, you know where it's coming off and your opponent doesn't. So, I thought it was a great game. It was really entertaining. I had a lot of fun watching it. And, I thought both teams really gutted it out tonight. And it's one of those nights where you feel bad. One of the teams has to lose, and you feel particularly bad. It's Toronto. But nonetheless, it was a fun game. And I thought both teams really laid it on the line. And I'll say one thing. I tell you what, give the Nets credit. Patty Mills might be probably the most, everyone's talking about the trade that Washington made to move Russell Westbrook out. Picking up Patty Mills, my goodness, what a great get he's been for them.
Mm-hmm. Sherman, what were your thoughts throughout this one?
Well, to address the rebounding, I thought Brooklyn did a great job of getting younger because they got some older guys on COVID protocol, and they played at a faster pace. Listen, Brooklyn likes to play at a slower pace. Of the 13 slower paced games that they played, of the 14, they won 13 of them. And one of those games were against the Raptors earlier in the season. So the pace of the game picked up. And I thought because Brooklyn scored in transition, they had multiple waves. They missed sometimes in transition, they got a rebound. They kicked it out, they got another look. So the transition game and the pace of the game with these young guys, I think really helped them out on the glass. And then there was just an energy level in terms of pursuit of the basketball that Brooklyn had when that shot went up. They made multiple efforts on the glass, and sometimes you saw one Brooklyn net offensive player amongst 2, 3, and sometimes 4 red jerseys in the paint securing the basketball. It was just one of those energy and effort things for the Raptors. But I thought this was a game where Brooklyn played very well. And I really thought, and you all might think I'm crazy, but when Kevin Durant was playing the point, I really thought they should have let him score the basketball because he was making too much plays for everybody else. And when he came off the ball, I thought they should have threw the double team at him. When he caught it coming off of pin downs, get the ball out of his hands, and then make him force other guys out of rhythm to score the basketball. But like Jack said, it was a great game. It was very entertaining. And the Raptors had chances to win. They just weren't able to capitalize. And that last rebound, as Emmy alluded to, that was a backbreaker. You gave up that offensive rebound when you got Kevin Durant to miss a shot that he normally makes. You better secure the basketball.
Yeah, Amy, was it just simply that they have, perhaps the best player in the world on their team in Kevin Durant? Because there were, as Sher mentioned, moments where they score 44 in the third quarter and they look to be somewhat in control there, up 10. And then the fourth quarter happens. They struggle. Overtime comes along. They go up by 4 early on, and you still feel pretty good about the situation, but the Raptors weren't able to like close us out. Is that just because, they got the confidence of Kevin Durant, or?
Well, I would say this: when you get a triple double, it's because guys are hitting shots too, right? Because you're facilitating, and it wasn't James Harden tonight. It was Klassen Edwards. It was Sharp had his moments. I mean, guys who have hardly touched the court were stepping up and making big plays. I was so impressed with KD's faith in these guys, right? As Sherm said, you were curious as to why maybe he was facilitating so much. And I sometimes I said, oh, I can't believe he didn't take that shot. But guys made it, right? So the assists, right? Yeah, you make nice passes, but guys made shots for Brooklyn. So when they look at the film, they're probably going to be pretty confident in some of the things that they were able to do tonight. And guys stepping up, hitting big shots who don't even get to touch the court that much this season. It was for them a huge character win for Brooklyn. Isn't that funny? The number one team in the East, and you're saying it's a character win against the Raptors, who, they're just trying to get into a play-in, but that's because of how crazy of a day it's been for the Brooklyn Nets and moving forward now the next couple weeks.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the offense, because they did score 129 points, which is a lot. I know it was overtime. And Jack, there were times when the offense was humming. Who did you like offensively and why? And you can only choose one, because there were a lot of great performances all around for the Raptors.
Sure. My favorite play of the night was Scotty Barnes taking Kevin Durant into the post and scoring over the top of him on the left side. And Kevin Durant had a very blank look on his face on the way back, but Scotty Barnes on the way back, it was like, man, I just scored on the best guy in the world. I might actually be a little better than I thought I was. Like, I can do this. And I think he knows he can do it. But when you do it against the best, and I'm not saying KD's all D, but KD is 7 feet tall. I mean, we've all seen him in person, and beyond 7 feet tall, he's really long. And when he wants to guard, he can guard. And I was incredible. That was like my favorite play of the night. And Scotty made a few big shots. So to me, I'm just having so much fun, just hitching a ride on the wagon of just watching this young man show me something different every night.
Yeah, and Sherman looked like he was relishing going at KD as well, right? Multiple times down the floor, he's like, all right, I'm going to take it again. I made the last one. Who did you like? Don't say Scotty.
Well, to your point, I mean, the compete level of Scotty is through the roof. I mean, he looked across and saw Kevin Durant, and he had no back down in him. He went right at him and took him on the block and attacked him. So you love that about Scotty. But I also thought Fred VanVleet, I mean, this guy, he just understands what his team needs in moments. And when he decides to just take over in whatever way he has to, whether it's distributing the ball or it's scoring the basketball, he just plugs and plays in. And, with that type of feel for his teammates and the game, it's a real treasure to have him at the point guard spot for Nick Nurse. But I thought Fred he had some great moments in that third quarter, and he led the way when his team needed to. The last time the Raptors faced the Brooklyn Nets, they were outscored 35-17 in that third quarter. You better know that Fred knew that coming out of the locker room and really said, that's not happening again, and did a great job. And then doesn't score in the fourth and then hits a big three late in the game. It's just, the guy's a gamer. He knows how to play the game. And I'm always impressed watching Fred go to work at certain points of the game when he knows what the game needs from him.
Amy, who did you like?
My options are, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
You know what? I would say this. I'm just kidding. I would say this. I thought Gary had some big looks. In fact, I don't know if you guys remember this one. He shot that 1-3. It was like, there was 0 rebounders, maybe 1 Raptor underneath. And it was kind of one of those, like, you have to make that shot if you're going to take it. And he did. I also don't mind when he gets a little bit chippy on defense. I thought he was fun. And let's not forget, Pascal had some moments too. I mean, he had some nice, especially to open the game, he got in the paint early. And I thought that was nice too. But I think for the Raptors, what I was thinking was they just needed that one spark in terms of scoring off the bench. They just didn't have that one, sometimes it takes one guy come in and give you a double, hit some big shots. And we saw it last night. different team, obviously different circumstance. But I mean, those top 4 guys were great, but it doesn't win you a game at Brooklyn.
Yeah, Jack, let's really quickly talk about Steph Curry because he passed Ray Allen to become the NBA's leader in all-time three-pointers made tonight. What is the historical significance of that milestone?
Well, obviously the three-point shot has become such a tremendous weapon in the game today. And he's the best I've ever seen do it. And you could say, well, other guys, it wasn't as emphasized back when they played. So what? I mean, this guy, in my mind, when I watch him play, I don't know if it was Aristotle or Socrates, somebody really smart said, excellence is a habit, not an act. That guy's got the best habits. His skill set, his fundamentals are pristine. They are. The guy is and Sherm is an elite golfer, so he can relate to this. He's not only a scratch.
Careful, Jack. Careful.
He's a +1. He's a +2. He's a +3. I mean, Steph is that good. I mean, he's the best catch and shoot guy I've ever seen, and he's the best guy I've ever seen score off the bounce. And do not let Sherm take any strokes from you on the golf course.
Sherm, your rebuttal.
This is so nice. Jack is so nice.
I think we need to keep this on basketball, Jack, and just leave my golf game out of it personally. But I read something. I read a tweet where Steph Curry made over 76,000 feet of three-pointers, averaging over 25 feet per shot. It's unbelievable, the numbers that he's done. And to Jack's point, it's historical from a standpoint of the NBA went away from the clutch and grab game. And here comes Steph Curry into a free-flowing game that can allow guys like him with that skill set to really show a different part of the game. And, Steph changed the game. He's changed the way the three-point shot is taken. So not only are his numbers historical, the fact that a la Allen Iverson, you talk about Wilt Chamberlain, you talk about Michael Jordan, these great players that change the way the games are officiated and practiced and played by younger players. Steph has changed that permanently with the way that he shoots the basketball. So this guy is unbelievable. He's probably, to me, the most fun player to watch play the game. And it couldn't have happened to a better guy. This guy has mastered the art of shooting the basketball. And to Jack's point, he's the greatest shooter I've ever seen, off the bounce from three or on catch and shoot.
And Amy, it started all in Toronto, right? On those courts way back when with his dad, Dell. Steve Kerr likened him to Michael Jordan in some context, just the way he plays and the significance and impact he's made on the game. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's arguments that he is the greatest shooter of all time. Michael's up there, they've changed the way that kids play this game. Right. I mean, as Sherman was saying, I keep saying it ruined AAU because every 10-year-old went out there and started chucking them up from half court because Steph Curry. But obviously, we know the difference is that Steph Curry, that's why he's like the greatest. And it comes with a tremendous amount of pressure. But the thing is he does it almost every night. Right. You shake your head sometimes because it's fantastic watching him. And I always say this, and I don't want to upset anyone. I don't get mad watching Tom Brady. Sorry, Jack. I don't get mad watching Tom Brady win. And because when we get to in live in real time watch these incredible athletes do their thing, there's something to be said about that. And he did it in under 800 games. Like that's the other part that's just like it's sorry, Jack. I know I'm never
No, I'm cool with it. No, I agree with you. I said to my wife the other day, she says, I don't like Tom Brady. I said, if he played for Buffalo the last 20 years, you'd disown
really like him
in a heartbeat. She goes, you're damn right I would. But I gotta say one word about Steph Curry, which I think makes him so infectious to so many kids.
Just don't relate him to Sherm, please.
No, Sherm's at that level golf-wise. But he's joyful. He's really joyful. And to me, when you see someone that has joy in their work, you get attracted to them. And to me, like, I want to go watch Steph Curry warm up. When I see him, I'm excited to say hello to him because there's joy that comes out of him. And to me, I think that's why we all play the game when we're little kids. And I think that sums it up for me when I watch him. Like, I was really happy for him tonight. Obviously, I know him and I know his family, but he's a wonderful young man, and he's joyful. And to me, celebrating that joy.
Absolutely. And what do great players do in their sport, in the relative sport? They change the way people look at the game. You know, we talk about the great players in any sport. They make you say, I didn't even think of that. Like, you know, when Michael Jordan's hanging in the air for 17 seconds, we're saying, is that humanly possible? Well, yeah, the great players can do that. Then all of a sudden, kids were trying to hang in the air forever. And then they reimagine how the game is played. Now, everybody could shoot a deep three, but could you shoot a Steph Curry deep three on balance, in rhythm, in a game with a guy draped all over you? No. So again, he makes you reimagine what a deep 3-point shot looks like. And when the guy's shooting it from the logo, like he's shooting it from the free throw line, he's completely blowing our mind, and he's done it consistently over and over again.
Yeah, good stuff, guys. Unfortunately, I have to stop you there. High praise for Steph on this night. High praise for Sherm, undoubtedly.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
No one knows why.
Herbs, you don't want to see me on the golf course.
You know what? I've heard, and I'm open to it. I'm open to the challenge.
This is a totally different vibe than what I'm used to on Nightcap, Jack. So I'm assuming that's
because we're not beside each other, Amy.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're having a good time tonight. We're having a good time. All right, next game for the Raptors. Don't forget, Thursday night against the Bulls is postponed. So the Raptors will get to see Steph Curry on Saturday night at Scotiabank Arena. Tip-off goes at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. We will see you then.